Welcome to TMZ Live. You have probably heard about the demonstration at a church in Minneapolis yesterday where one of the pastors allegedly has a connection to ICE. ICE protesters came in. Don Lemon chronicled it. Now the federal government is saying that they have all violated, including Don Lemon, the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871. They have violated people's civil rights who were there to pray. They are vowing to prosecute them.
Right. The Department of Justice says that it has already launched an investigation into everything that everyone who was involved in what you're about to see here. This is a little bit of Don's report. And again, Don Lemon is very much in the crosshairs of the Department of Justice after this.
This is a pastor who runs that church, not the one connected to ICE, but somebody connected to the church.
Did they explain to you why they're here?
They did not.
They said that there is someone here in Easterwood, someone who is a member of ICE, and he's a pastor of the church.
Our church had gathered for worship, which we do every Sunday. We asked them to leave, and they obviously have not left.
So this is what the First Amendment is about the freedom to protest.
There's varying array of views in this church on politics of immigration. Recognize the complexity of the issue.
This shows you just how divided America is. When you look at the protesters here, and then you look at the people there who are praying, and you know what was the interesting thing? If these two groups could just get together, they might figure out what to do.
So there you see it. Don was, as they say, reporting from the front lines, telling you everything that was happening, talking to people.
And the key word is reporting.
Yes.
He was reporting, but the federal government now seems to think he is part of an insurrection.
That he crossed the line. So joining us right now, the man in the middle of it, Don Lemon. Don, welcome back to TMZ Live.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Good to see you, Charles and Harvey. I wish it was under different circumstances, but you know.
I don't know. I think it's. I think this is an important circumstance to talk about, so I'm actually embracing it. So Harmeet Dillon, the Deputy Attorney General for Civil Rights, was on the Benny Johnson show and talked about you and what you did at the church. Want to play it? Want to get your reaction.
Some of these folks who did this have self-identified. Don Lemon himself has come out and said he knew exactly what was going to happen inside that facility. He went into the facility and then he began, quote unquote, committing journalism. And as if that's sort of a shield from being an embedded part of a criminal conspiracy. It isn't. Come next Sunday, nobody should think in the United States that they're going to be able to get away with this. Everyone in the protest community needs to know that the fullest force of the federal government is going to come down and prevent this from happening and put people away for a long, long time.
What do you say to the offense, the criminal offense of committing journalism. Don?
I'm not really quite sure what to say about that. I think that if this woman and the DOJ or Trump or Pam Bondi, if they think that they're going to somehow make activists and protesters in Minneapolis afraid, then I think they've got another thing coming. I think these people are really pissed off at what's happening in the country. And I think that this is, right now, we're at an inflection point, and I think this is going to motivate people to protest even more. They should be trying to listen to the protesters, which is one of the questions I asked the pastor. Now, as far as it relates to me, I had, it doesn't matter if I had an idea or didn't have an idea of what was going on in church. I'm a journalist. I was there to report and to show and to chronicle what's going on and to memorialize it. And that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly what we do in every situation and over historic moments since America's inception. That's what journalists do. It's the First Amendment. We're protected in the First Amendment. So I have no idea what they're talking about. And I don't believe this woman has any idea what she's talking about as well.
Well, it sounds like, Don, they are tying you to saying that you weren't just a journalist. It almost sounds like they're accusing you, or they think that you might have been involved in the planning of this, that you were somehow part of the protest. I didn't see that at all in the video, but that sounds what the road that they're going down.
I think it sounds like what they would like people to think. I have no planning. I did no planning. There's no evidence of any planning. Again, I was there covering, well, not again, because I didn't tell you this, but I was there covering the protesters. I flew into Minneapolis that morning. They were holding an event, and I said, well, why don't I just go with you guys to see what you're doing today? And they said, fine, come with us. And I chronicle it throughout my show live on YouTube and on Substack and Twitch. It's live. It's all there. I had no idea the planning. I didn't even know where we were going. Not that that even matters. Again, I'm a journalist. That's what I was doing. I talked to the people at the church. I talked to the pastor. I talked to the congregants. I talked to the protesters. And that's it. And then I left. And when I left, there were police officers outside. And if they thought there was any, civil disobedience that had gone out of control, I think they would have come in and started, trying to remove people or ask them to leave or arresting people. None of that happened. It was very peaceful. There was, nobody was physically threatened. And, once once the disturbance was created, then I looked at it as an opportunity to do news, to report on it. And what if I hadn't been there chronicling it? Nobody would have known about it. But also, I wasn't the only journalist there, so I'm not quite sure how I became the face in the headline.
Well, hey, congratulations, you are. So I want to get your reaction to my take on this. I mean, I have been in news for 47 years. I've done newspapers, I've done radio, I've done local news, TMZ, other things. You did journalism. I mean, I watched it yesterday. It's pure journalism.
It commits journalism.
Yeah, you committed pure journalism yesterday. It's clear. So when you hear the Deputy Attorney General saying this, it's silly, it's wacky, it's dumb. I mean, look, people can have
it's an intimidation tactic.
But that's where I'm going. That none of that would ever stand up in court because there's clearly a First Amendment right to do what you did. So none of it's going to stand up in court. She knows it. I mean, she passed the bar exam. She knows it. If this is done for intimidation, I'm not so sure that doesn't have some impact on people thinking, yeah, it's great, but then I have to hire a lawyer. I'm going to have to pay a lot of money to win. And then where am I at the end? So if this really is an intimidation, and that's what they're doing, everybody kind of passes it off. But that's a real thing in this country.
Yes, it is a real thing. But on this Dr. King Day, this is mobilizing a lot of people. When I hosted a breakfast for Dr. King today for the Rainbow Push Coalition, Reverend Jesse Jackson's organization, and people are really mobilized. And obviously people at this event had heard about it, and the attorneys for the Bar Association in Chicago and civil rights attorneys are saying, bring it on. Because this is what the civil rights movement was about. Don, they said, what if no one had chronicled the civil rights movement? This is akin to people going into to diners and department stores with lunch counters and sitting in. This was an act of civil disobedience. But they said, none of that has anything to do with you. You're a journalist. And we look to our journalists. There's a special place carved out in the Constitution for journalists. We look to our journalists to be able to record this stuff so that people have an idea of what is happening in the now and also in history. So, I think this is just this is gonna backfire on them. They're gonna mobilize more people to fight against these strong arm ICE and federal agent tactics that's happening on the streets where they're not following due process nor the Constitution. I think that they are alerting a lot of people who may have sort of been apathetic about it, in the past. Now they're going to become more aware of it. So let them do it. Bring it on.
Don, that's the big picture. Smaller picture. Nicki Minaj and her response to all of this and the language that she used. I think it's interesting just because Nicki has been, over the last couple of months, made it clear that she is now publicly supporting, and I think maybe she has all along, but now publicly making known her support for the Trump administration and even the MAGA movement. The choice of words that she used to go after you, I'm not surprised she went after you.
It's homophobic.
Yeah. I don't think you have to black it out. You should show it to people. She called me Don, sucker, Lemon is disgusting. Look, this is what I'll say to Nicki Minaj. I normally don't respond to things like this, but I'm going to do it this time. I think Nicki Minaj has made it very clear how she feels about African Americans in this country. I don't think she's one of them, obviously. And she should, under Trump's rules, she should be deported because I don't think, reportedly, that she is a legal citizen here. She is undocumented. And so she has shown her disdain for African Americans. So why are you supporting her? Why are you buying her records? She's also supporting, I have lots of gay friends who love Nicki Minaj. Why are you supporting this homophobic bigot, bigoted, ignorant woman. You should not be supporting her. Nicki Minaj, this is clearly out of her depth. She doesn't understand politics. She doesn't understand journalism. And I'm not surprised that she is weighing in on something that is beyond her capacity. What I will say to her is, because she put a doll, I think she put the Chucky doll in there, a better symbol that should have been represented in that picture is a pick-me doll, because Nicki Minaj is a pick-me. She will do anything that is expedient for her politically. And again, she's ignorant. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's always weighing in on things that she doesn't know about. Nicki Minaj should just sit down. And by the way, isn't she married to an alleged pedophile? And she has the nerve to say something disparaging about and something homophobic. I'm pretty sure that maybe that's part of the reason that she is cozying up to the Trump administration for some sort of leniency for her family members. And it's just very transparent. So Nicki Minaj, F off, stop being a homophobic bigot, and get a life and some brains.
Okay, we will leave it there.
All right. I know you said you don't normally respond, but that was
that was a response.
That was definitely a response.
Thank you, Don. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Coming up.
There is evidence that the murders of Rob and Michelle Reiner may have been meth murders. Nick Reiner was arrested in Exposition Park, which is an area of the city which is a drug den, especially at night.
Be right back.
There is evidence that the murders of Rob and Michelle Reiner may have been meth murders. And we have done some deep digging, because if you remember, Nick Reiner, who we have told you was severely mentally ill with schizoaffective disorder. He has had all sorts of problems. He was off the meds that kept him stable. And he was arrested in Exposition Park, which is an area of the city which is a drug den, especially at night.
Especially the time when officers arrested him there. It's generally what people are there for.
And we should say, he went all the way across town after the murders.
It's not a quick trip from where he was, that hotel where he was staying in Santa Monica. So we went down to Exposition Park and actually spoke to someone who is in that area, sees the kind of activity that goes on. This is what he told us. This was actually, you did this on your Two Angry Men podcast with Mark Garagos, but here's what this gentleman in Exposition Park had to say.
Is this the place that people come if they're looking for that? Like,
every drug I should be over here every night.
What can you find out here? I mean, there's like,
whatever you looking for, bro.
Specifically like meth. You can get meth. You can get
whatever you looking for, bro.
Have you ever seen this guy particularly? He was arrested a while back.
Right.
The Rob Reiner's son.
He does look familiar.
He looks familiar. You might have seen him out here.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So, look, two things. One is, this could not have been his first trip to Exposition Park in the month he had fallen off the rails. He had been using meth before he had been stabilized. So the likelihood of him, for the first time after the murders, going to Exposition Park seems very remote. But the other thing that we can't talk about in detail is these weren't just murders. It was carnage. And we have sources in the medical examiner's office who have said they were traumatized by what they saw. This was a brutal murder that has all the markings of meth.
That level of violence is often associated with meth use.
And I think that it's important. There are two real legal issues that come about based on if it's true, and I'm sure they've done toxicology studies on Nick, and they'll know whether it's true or not if he was high on meth at the time. Two things. Number one, obviously, I think it does water down his insanity plea because the juries are much less deferential and respectful of somebody who's does this kind of thing because they've chosen to do an illegal narcotic. That's just the way juries work. The second point is that any potential civil liability, we've taught a lot of reporting about the doctors. There may have been some real switching of his medications that may have triggered this psychotic episode. If, in fact, it was triggered, the immediate cause of the murders, or at least he was taking meth at the time, any civil liability these doctors may have faced, it's all down the road, we got to do the fact-finding, would really be upended by the fact that he was taking meth at the time, because you can't rule that out as the precipient cause.
I think I agree with both of those points, but I think there's even a more fundamental point. And, you know, we did a lot of digging on this, and we talk about this on the podcast, that Nick Reiner was, they changed his medication because he was complaining about weight gain. And it's not uncommon for doctors to do that, because there are two byproducts of this: sexual dysfunction and weight gain. And so they will try. The younger psychiatrists, they're actually giving them things like Ozempic. Rather than changing the meds, they just add Ozempic. But I don't know, even without meth, if it's considered negligent to change meds when somebody is saying, look, you're ruining my life, I'm gaining all this weight, I can't handle this anymore.
That is more common. I don't think that alone would be negligent.
Right.
And you're right. When he started taking the meth, if in fact he was, would make the biggest difference to what you're saying. Like, can you hold the doctors responsible? But if he had been taking meth when they changed his medication, that's on them to know that, right? They can do blood tests to find out before they start.
I'm guessing they. I talked to Garrigus about this. This is our recent Two Angry Men podcast, the one we just dropped over the weekend. They almost clearly did a blood test when they arrested him.
Oh, no, time of the arrest.
He's talking about when they
changed his medication.
The new medication. Would they have known that he was on meth?
I don't think.
You think the meth is more in between?
I think the meth was
changing.
Yes, I think everything we know is the meth was after they changed the meds. And
So
he was
a
going
month
off the
before
rails.
the murders.
Yes.
They changed the medication.
Yes.
And then sometime between.
He was okay until then.
Right.
Nick from Tennessee. I've been covering true crime on TikTok since about 2021. And I think the meth-induced rage killing makes the most sense. The narrative surrounding the investigation has pivoted so many times, however. We started with the theory of Nick being a spoiled Nepo baby. And then we went to this drug-addicted mental break, possibly, that led to the killings. And now we're, of course, at this this meth-induced killing, which I think makes total sense. But I'm very curious to see which one of these defenses, if this case does go to trial, that the defense attorneys will grab onto.
2 and 3 get wrapped together, what you just mentioned. 2 and 3, the mental illness and the change of meds and the meth, they go hand in hand. So we will see, but it seems like their only play here is not guilty by reason of insanity. By the way, we talk about this extensively on our documentary that we did, TMZ Investigates the Reiner Murders, What Really Happened. It's available streaming right now on Hulu and Fox Nation.
Well, Jennifer Lopez is getting called out for dissing the glam bot. Yes, this has nothing to do with AI or robots roaming a red carpet, but it's about the Golden Globes, and when she walked in, there's a feature they do on E! News with a guy who's out there with a camera that's on a dolly, and they do something called the glam bot shot. If you haven't seen it, that's what it looks like. So what people are reacting to, and now the guy who produces that, his name is Cole Walliser, he is now responding to a week's worth of fan mail, I guess, that he's gotten, where people felt that J-Lo completely dissed him and treated him like crap on the red carpet. Here is the moment on the red carpet, and then we're going to tell you what he has to say about it.
Hi, my dear. Lovely to see you again. You look amazing. Yeah, right in the star right there. Do we have an idea of a move? We're just going to give a little look or a pose, a little turn. Perfect, great. Camera's going to end right here. We're in a high push wrap. High push is fine. High push is fine. So end right here. It's going to start at the top. 3, 2, 1, action. You go.
I don't get it.
That seemed perfectly normal to me. But people have
too much time in their hands.
They've been laughing about it so much that Cole.
It's a week ago.
This is Cole's take on it. Did he feel offended by how Jennifer Lopez, about their interaction there? This is what he said.
Now, I'm not here to tell anybody how they should feel, but there was only one other person outside of J-Lo that was in that conversation, and that person was me. I do get asked all the time, who was the worst glam bot? And honestly, I don't have an answer. I mean, literally, I've never felt that people were like rude to me in that moment. The world is just so crazy that like when people are distracted or like less chatty or like thinking about other stuff, I don't take it personally. And even with J-Lo, like I didn't take it personally. I didn't feel rude in that moment. I think there's a couple things that sort of like added to the fuel of this idea. One, like, she's just down to business. The carpet was closed. She's ready to go inside. She knew what she was going to do. You know, she got into the position, and I think it was just like unfortunate that the position was she was facing away from me. So I am talking to her. She is looking away, but she's getting ready for the move.
Right. Exactly. That's it. She was, yes, her back was turned to him, but that was what he asked her to do.
No, yeah, she was getting ready to do the move she was going to do. She's a professional. She was just following direction. And also, I think I've looked at the years past. She's done a million glam bots in the past at tons of red carpets, and she's completely personable and nice to him. It just seemed like she was taking direction, doing her job.
You know when Harvey says, like, oh, I can't stand these award shows? This is why.
Right, exactly.
This is why you can't, because this is nothing more than the ongoing, I don't know where it comes from, hatred of J-Lo.
Oh, yeah.
Everything she does gets picked apart. This was among the most innocent things she's done.
This one seemed false.
And more to the point, he doesn't care.
Brittany, Dallas, Texas. Now, J-Lo is a respected and talented veteran in entertainment, and even still, she makes it difficult for us to push back against rumors about her being a difficult diva. While Cole is giving grace, what would it have taken for her to say hello or thank you at the end of the interaction? They're both working the carpet, but in different ways. So a little salutations at least, no conversation, but like a hi and a bye. A little kindness does go a long way, and she could take notes from Olandria Carthen, who was really personable.
When are these awards over?
We've got a couple more months.
Coming up.
Lamar Odom off the wagon, according to authorities in Las Vegas, because he was pulled over for DUI early Saturday morning in Las Vegas. We don't know yet.
It's interesting it's Las Vegas.
Interesting
because that is where he almost died.
2015, almost died of an overdose.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too.
Did you just say, look at the water? I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. Lamar Odom off the wagon, according to authorities in Las Vegas, because he was pulled over for DUI early Saturday morning in Las Vegas, and we don't know yet.
It's interesting it's Las Vegas.
Interesting
because that is where he almost died.
2015, almost died of an overdose at a brothel there. But this time he was behind the wheel, and police say that he was doing about 40 miles over the speed limit, over the posted speed limit. Swerving in between lanes. We don't know yet the blood alcohol. I know we were trying to, Brendan, do we have that yet?
We don't have that yet.
Yep. So we're trying to get the narrative from the police. But it's surprising
and not surprising.
Yes.
That the majority of people who attain sobriety fall off the wagon at some point.
And Lamar himself has said that.
And Lamar's talked about it. Now, you know Lamar now owns rehab centers, and I don't think this creates a collapse of those rehab centers because he did this, because he's one of them.
Right.
And he did what happens to a lot of people. And I think for him to show a rebound is in many ways so much more meaningful for the people in the center because they see it can be done.
He's going through exactly what he's preached to people who go to his rehab centers, that every day is, you wake up and it's every day.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. And
we know this morning the courts have now officially charged him with the 3 misdemeanors for the DUI, the basic speeding violation, and the fail to properly maintain. So he's now facing these misdemeanor charges. We've tried reaching Lamar multiple times since we broke the story over the weekend. We've had no luck in getting in touch with him. We do know he was out like that night before he was pulled over. We know he was out. He was seen out by people in Vegas, hanging out socially. So having a little bit too much fun, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of the experts say that when somebody falls off the wagon, they often fall off at a higher level than they were at when they got help in the first place. Yeah. It just is the way it happens. But he's a good guy. And, we did a documentary with him not too long ago.
Not only, tried to turn his life around, but help other people do the same.
Yeah, I wish him well.
Hi, I'm Surah, Memphis, Tennessee. I think that Lamar Odom is kind of a sad case, unfortunately, but at least he owns rehab centers and he can check himself into one.
That's a problem.
We were talking about that.
He should not be going to his own rehab center.
There's
because
a conflict there.
There's a big conflict there. That other people may be doing things the boss wants them to do as opposed to what's good for that person. So it would be a good idea to go elsewhere.
Well, Keith Urban has found himself a new love, or at least this week, that's what the internet seems to think. Seems like it's a different person every month or so, ever since his split from Nicole Kidman. But the woman, the artist that people think he is dating, says not so fast. Carly Scott Collins, an up-and-coming country singer, who you think would be happy to attach her fortunes to Keith Urban,
but
is denying the rumors.
And attaching her fortunes doesn't mean she's with him. It just means do what Maggie Baugh did, which is don't say anything.
Maggie Baugh is the guitarist who was playing with Keith Urban in his band around the time that
they split with Nicole, and everybody thought he was with Maggie, and it created a lot of news, and Maggie got a lot of attention. Now we know Maggie's name.
Maggie didn't say anything. Maggie's dad posted something that made you think.
She not only didn't
now
say
we know her name.
She not only didn't say anything, she also like teased new music before saying anything.
Good on Maggie.
So she clearly played it right, but like just being devil's advocate, I mean, I guess we found out Maggie did have a boyfriend, but what if she has a boyfriend?
So the boyfriend needs to suck it up and just be silent and say this is for Carly's career, and Carly's not saying yeah it's true. She's just not saying anything.
And then Carly blows up and leaves this poor guy.
Well, then that guy shouldn't be afraid of Carly's success, and if he is afraid of Carly's success, Carly should leave him. So it's really that simple.
So Carly Scott Collins, listen, for those who didn't know her name, now you do. So she's gotten a little bit of a bump.
Problem is you'll forget it tomorrow, and if you would have done what Maggie did, which is let it last 2 weeks, then you'd remember Carly.
Free PR advice.
Coming up.
The Super Bowl is going to be real spicy around the White House. I think there's going to be a mandate that all televisions are off in the White House.
Well, isn't there an alternative that they're doing?
There's going to have to be, because the NFL has made a decision about the Super Bowl as if Bad Bunny wasn't enough.
It's called doubling down.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Oh, the Super Bowl is going to be real spicy around the White House. I think there's going to be a mandate that all televisions are off in the White House.
Well, isn't there an alternative that they're doing?
There's going to have to be, because the NFL has made a decision about the Super Bowl as if Bad Bunny wasn't enough.
It's called doubling down.
Yes. While Bad Bunny is still going to be doing the halftime show, the pregame concert will be performed by Green Day.
Known foe of Donald Trump.
A more vocal opponent of Donald Trump even than Bad Bunny.
They've changed lyrics.
They've changed lyrics to go after MAGA, but they have been selected to perform the pregame concert.
So I don't understand.
Now, it does make sense.
I don't understand something about this. So is this Roger Goodell? Is it Jay-Z? Is it both of them? Because they both have influence over this. And Goodell...
They both called the shot.
But Goodell is a Republican, and he seems so much more cautious in terms of not wanting to piss off anybody, that this feels more like Jay-Z than it does Roger Goodell.
Yeah, but there's no... I think Charles was saying this earlier. I don't see any circumstance where Jay-Z could make this decision unilaterally by himself, right? And I think realistically, most of the NFL owners are conservatives. I don't think this was a jab at the president. I think it's just a coincidence. That's my thought.
And but they know Green Day.
Right.
But the other part of it is that Green Day is a Bay Area band. The game is being played in Santa Clara.
You could find other bands. You could find other bands. I mean,
maybe none as big as Green Day, though.
Right.
See, I just think this is so much more intentional.
But why do it? What are they hoping to get?
I don't know.
You know, it's like, what's the point?
But it's not like
do you want to make an enemy of the president?
But it's not like they didn't know.
Right. You would think so.
They know.
Yeah.
And then the question is, are they going to put those MAGA lyrics in the songs that they play?
I am sure they're going to be told nothing political, but that doesn't mean that they're going to follow.
Do it.
Right.
What are they going to do if they do it?
Right. They're not going to
yank them off the air.
Right.
Yeah. No. So I don't know.
It's going to be fun to watch because of that.
Fascinating.
I think you put too much emphasis on the fact that Roger Goodell, and by the way, I've never heard him actually say that he's Republican.
Right.
So I don't know that. But
he's cautious.
And I agree that most of the owners probably are.
I would think so.
But largely, they just care about the game being the spectacle that it's supposed to be every year, and that people talk about it and they make money.
But this matters.
And that's it.
But this matters.
That's the only thing that matters to them. They don't care about the politics.
You don't think they care about Bad Bunny?
About making money.
Bad Bunny?
They want to make money.
And they're going to make money because they want to take the NFL overseas or to South America. Sure. And it's going to help them.
Right.
But
music
matters.
And if the president gets pissed off, they don't care about that.
But
I mean, the reality is, I think they probably feel as a group, they have more of America on their side than the president does.
I agree with you, but I think, you know, Bad Bunny, there's a reason they picked Bad Bunny, and it helps them. I don't know how Green Bay helps broaden their audience, but it's going to piss off Trump. That's what I'm saying.
Texas. So listen, this makes perfect sense when you look at the data. The NFL is booking who actually watches, not just who's loud online. Bad Bunny and Green Day on the same stage in America just represents who we are now. We're multilingual, we're multi-generational, we're multicultural. And any backlash about this wouldn't be about music. It would be about deciding which cultures get to be celebrated and centered.
Which is exactly what America has become. Exactly what America has become.
So Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are back together for a new film called The Rip. It's on Netflix now, and I can't tell if they're happy with the script. They went on Joe Rogan's podcast. They were doing the rounds to promote the movie, and they were talking about how doing movies for streamers like Netflix is much different from the movies they used to make. But are they happy? I can't tell.
The standard way to make an action movie that we learned was, you know, you usually have like 3 set pieces, one in the first act, one in the second, and one in the third, and you know, they kind of ramp up, and the big one with all the explosions, and you spend most of your money on that one in the third act. That's your kind of finale. And now they're like, can we get a big one in the first 5 minutes to get somebody? You know, we want people to stay tuned in, and you know, it wouldn't be terrible if you reiterated the plot 3 or 4 times in the dialogue, because people are on their phones while they're watching, you know what I mean?
Oh, no.
And so then it's going to really start to infringe on how we're telling the story.
Well, there's no doubt. It's shade.
They're pissed.
And what they're because the world has changed.
Right.
And we see it here.
Because people aren't going to sit in a theater necessarily for 2 hours and watch a movie.
When we programmed the website, the headline is everything. And the first line is next to as important as the headline. And you've got to make sure that they are with you the entire time. If you ever confuse them or bore them, they're gone.
They're gone.
They're not waiting.
That is true. And I mean, like you said, the entertainment industry is changing, and a lot of what we're seeing, a lot of what people are consuming now is the short form content that you find on TikTok and Instagram. That's a minute or 2 long, and it keeps you engaged for that very brief amount of time. If you're going to sit down to watch a movie, most of the time you find yourself.
You're a screenwriter.
I was just going to say. I don't like this.
You went to film school, right? For those of you who don't know, this is Anakin. He is my assistant. Anakin one day will accept an Academy Award. He is a screenwriter. I'm telling you.
Clip this out. Remember this moment.
I wish I could. I will probably be dead. No offense. But he's going to win an Academy Award.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Just clip this out, and at some point,
the Academy won't use it.
When
I know that.
and you got to thank Dust in the Wind.
Absolutely.
Hi, Amanda from Missouri. I think we're incredibly addicted to our cell phones. I know that I am addicted to my cell phone. And I know that we live in such a microwave society where everything is at our fingertips, and it could make something as simple as watching a 2-hour movie uninterrupted seem impossible.
You know, you could feel when Matt Damon was saying that, the contempt.
Yes.
You feel it.
Right.
Coming up.
I feel like a new parent. We gave birth here at TMZ over the weekend. We launched our TMZ comedy crawl.
What a terrifying thought, you as a parent. But anyway.
It was fabulous.
Be right back.
I feel like a new parent. We gave birth here at TMZ over the weekend. We launched our TMZ comedy crawl.
What a terrifying thought, you as a parent. But anyway.
It was fabulous. It was fabulous.
Yes, this is the evolution of the TMZ tours.
So this is a
stand-up comedians
on the bus
hosting, delivering jokes as the tour goes on, and going
but that is
to the
just the beginning.
Hitting the biggest comedy clubs in town.
Hosted by Brittany Schmidt and Mateen Stewart. So they're doing comedy like on the bus. It's a rolling comedy show as we go to LA's Big Three, I like to call it. The Laugh Factory, the Improv, and the Comedy Store.
And in each place, they're giving drinks to the people for free. They're giving, it's just, you get to watch Dane Cook perform at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just unbelievable.
And then they gave us free tickets to a future show at the Improv and Laugh Factory.
Which is crazy.
And then reduced admission at Comedy Store.
So we do it every Friday night, and it's just...
Not yet.
Well, we're gonna.
There's always a tour on Friday night. It's not always going to be the comedy.
Well, and speaking of Friday night, we did After Dark this weekend.
Yes. Oh my God.
So
it was.
Saturday night, LJ, who's a R&B singer, and Yuckmouth did After Dark. We went to Powerhouse Beaches, Saddle Ranch. And the best thing about LJ was his dad was an R&B singer back in the 90s. Rome is his name.
Oh, yeah.
And you know him?
Yeah.
He performed like his famous song, and all the women on the bus were saying, "I've made babies to this music." And he was on there going like, it was actually hilarious. And he was dancing with the crowd. Wow. It was a great time. And then DJ Rico was on the decks helping him just liven up the crowd all night.
Best party in town. TMZ After Dark, Friday, Saturday nights. Okay, every weekend we put polls up at the website to find out how you feel about things we posted over the week. We did it this weekend. Here are the results.
All right. Ford worker who called Trump pedophile protector. Fire him or it's freedom of speech.
They're going to say freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech.
By a lot. By a lot.
Yes.
As it should be. Okay, next. Kiefer Sutherland tells Uber driver, pull over or I'll kill you. That's a criminal threat or ridiculous, just hyperbole.
They're going
I think they're going to go ridiculous.
Yep.
Ooh.
Wow.
That surprises me.
Okay.
Next.
Wow. Whose side you on? ASAP Rocky or Drake?
They're going to say ASAP, I think.
Because he's the one, he's got Rihanna.
Yeah, he's got Rihanna, that's it. Okay,
Rihanna
deal breaker. Okay, next one. Ludacris dropping out of Kid Rock tour. He should. Kid Rock's a Trumper or he's a wuss. It's about music, not politics. I think that. Oh my God, I'm
really
stunned at that.
surprised.
I am stunned at that. Okay, next one.
All right, Jessica Simpson should do Bachelorette. No way it's beneath her. Absolutely, it'll make her relevant again.
That. I am wrong on everything today.
We don't
I'm going to
get
try
you guys.
one more.
Last one. Here
I'm going to try one more. Okay. Michael Rappaport, homophobic for Colton Underwood call-out where he said you're good at keeping secrets. For sure, closet jokes are hurtful or Colton pretended to be straight on Bachelor, so fair game. I say it's going to be that.
They're going to say fair game. Yep, they're going fair game. Hey, we got one right.
Finally got one right.
All right. Woo.
Coming up.
There is a wild elephant on the loose, as it would be. It's a wild elephant in India, but this one, for some reason, has taken to charging at and injuring, even killing several villagers.
Be right back.
Some extraordinary video now and a very unique to this part of the world problem, I think, where there is a wild elephant on the loose, as it would be. It's a wild elephant in India, but this one, for some reason, has taken to charging at and injuring, even killing several villagers. It's actually been going back and forth between two villages. Experts have been trying to corral it. As you can see, they're not having a lot of luck. And
the thing is, elephants don't hide in plain sight very well. And, you know, I don't want to get too graphic here, but at a point,
they know where they know where the elephant is. They've actually tried. Officials have tried to like tranquilize it to no avail. And I don't know if that's their bad shots or what it is, but.
And what made the elephant go after people this way?
They think that this is an adolescent elephant that is in basically going through puberty, and that the hormones are making it go crazy.
Wow.
That's what the experts think, but wow, look out.
Artesia, California. Yeah, this is very devastating. My prayers out to the family. To be honest, I really think that, high levels of, testosterone with the male, basically trying to find, his mate, because elephants get extremely aggressive when they're in their mating season because it's a male elephant. I feel like he just went crazy, rampage, and just started killing people. So
It's really, really,
really
horrific.
Really sad.
What else do you guys want to talk about?
Hi, my name is Alfonso from Portland, Maine, and I wanted to talk about the Nicki Minaj and Don Lemon situation. First of all, Don Lemon is a journalist, and if the DOJ needs to leave him alone, I think they should leave him alone because he's a journalist, and trying to investigate him basically affects his First Amendment.
Oh, unquestionably, it is the First Amendment. It's not just a fact. It is the First Amendment.
Yeah.
One more.
Hi, this is Messy Becky. In regards to the rumors that...
All right, well, you teed it up now. Let's see where this goes.
Yes. This isn't a very messy take, though. In regards to the rumors that Nick Reiner may have been on methamphetamine the night of the murders, I think that they say don't jump to conclusions, but it's not a very big leap to assume that he was on methamphetamine that night, given his very vocal history, coupled along with the location in which he was found. But I do disagree with Dr. Drew, who claims that this wouldn't have been enough if he didn't have methamphetamine in his system, that his mental health and the switch from the medications wouldn't be enough to trigger it.
Well, no. But let me just help you on Drew. Drew's not saying that he wouldn't have done this were it not for meth. He's saying when you look at the brutality associated with the murders, that brutality feels like meth. That it's one thing that somebody gets killed.
To kill in this way.
To kill in this way.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Well, it was just a matter of time. You knew there was going to be another Sphere. It is such a huge hit, such a landmark already in Las Vegas.
And one of the most remarkable entertainment venues,
really
and maybe
is.
the most I've ever seen in my life.
So the fact that they're building another one is not surprising. The location, maybe.
Be right back.
Well, it was just a matter of time. You knew there was going to be another Sphere. It is such a huge hit, such a landmark already in Las Vegas.
And one of the most remarkable entertainment venues,
really
and maybe
is.
the most I've ever seen in my life.
Right. So the fact that they're building another one is not surprising. The location, maybe. They're going up Maryland, just outside D.C.
Well, but then you get Maryland, you get D.C., you get Virginia. That makes sense.
DMV. Yep. You get all of that there. But it's in National Harbor. So there is an MGM Grand already there.
Oh my God, the MGM must be,
so
you know what, bricks.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, how are we going to compete with
No,
this?
but listen, the Sphere doesn't have any hotel rooms, right? So it's great for them.
They stay at
you
the
stay at the
I get it.
MGM.
I get it.
And you go check out the show at the Sphere.
I get
Those
it.
were renderings you just saw there. They haven't actually built it yet. But
wow, it's going to be
big news in that part of the world.
Good luck. By the way, congratulations, because it is the greatest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's just it's breathtaking. We'll see you tomorrow.